Good afternoon. My name is Scott Redler, Chief Strategic Officer at T3Live.com. Welcome to today's recap and look ahead. So this morning, futures are down 13 to 14 handles. S&P cash was below 2118, 2119, a level that we've been discussing. And we know the way these computers work. Okay, we call it the power of reclaiming or reclamation, or also when you're looking to break out, the power of a failure. The false moves are the fastest moves when the sentiment's on the other side of the trade. So, on Tuesday, the market had its big engulfing down move. So if you were to make money short, you had to stay short Tuesday into yesterday on that little bit of a feeble bounce, and then, you get paid this morning. If you came in, flat today saying, oh my goodness, everyone's saying we're going to break below the range, the market's cooked, and you shorted this morning, you lost. So, it's just the way the tape is. They at both ends of the tape, they try and expand it, and then it comes right back into the VWAP, which is where all the institutions have their orders now because, there's no manual people out there anymore, a very small amount of them. Anyway, let's look right here. So on Monday, right here is where it looked like it was going to break above the range. Got contained by the 50-day, okay, and closed off highs, and then boom, you had this big engulfing day that cut and sliced this small ascending channel here, okay, which broke below 44-ish on the S&P cash and this 214.40. Then yesterday you had your little bit of an inside day, didn't trap, didn't gap up, et cetera, et cetera. Then today we went lower, but look what happened, okay, went below the recent pivot area, okay, which was 212.31, putting a low here at 211.21, and then came well off the lows, reclaimed this 212.31. So if you were looking to cover your shorts, I know I came in short, okay, I shorted on Tuesday, okay, sat through most of the noise yesterday from when I was on holiday, and then, in the morning call this morning, I'm like, I'm going to cover at least half, which was right around this 212, covered a little bit more, and then when it went green, I just got out of the way. Okay, and not green, I'm sorry, when I reclaimed that area, when I reclaimed 2119. So this is what 2119 looked like right here. So, once it went back above this spot, okay, some guys were tweeting at me saying, hey, isn't that a red dog reversal? I'm like, yeah, this is, big level. Okay, after 4 down days, reclaimed it. So, if you want to cover there, that's great. If you want to look long, it's also worth a chance. I wasn't thinking about flipping. I was thinking that, today we were breaking a range, and that could be that. Okay, now we'll see if, this wants to rally a little bit more and test the curling lower moving averages, and that's somewhere around here. So for this type of reversal day, hopefully you covered some shorts, and if you were short, from here or from the failure there, then, you made some money, and if you came in flat because the market was wishy-washy, there were things to do. So for those of you that don't know, I do have a note. I write it every day with like 25 different if-then scenarios that I'm looking to potentially participate with. So some of the ideas today in my focus section was see if ACIA can go green and bounce and do a red dog reversal. Maybe Coop, maybe NTNX, maybe Twilio. That was in the new issue section. And then also, Netflix was very oversold. I was looking to see if that can go from red to green. The bios were very oversold, just for a broken trade from red to green. And what else did we talk about? Oh, the 50-day moving average for Facebook and for BABA. So lots of different types of things to see what would happen and then execute if you wanted to. So let's first go to the high beta techs. Okay, let's go to Facebook first. Facebook, went to the 50-day. And bounced off it. It wasn't easy, but that was a nice calculated spot. Went below it, came back above it, 15 cents. Okay. Now at this point, I think it's still not great and has a little bit to prove. But all in all, nice little bounce off that if you were short or if you were looking for a trade. Nothing spectacular though. BABA also, okay, got hit hard off the bat, came in, hit the 50-day. First time you get to the 50-day, quality stocks, you look for some kind of bounce, and you had it. Okay, if you shorted it here when this engulfed this move, that was your day to short, right there, when it breaks the 8 and 21 day. Here was your follow-through. Hopefully you covered into the 50-day, and then or maybe even got long. For what I did is I still had the call spread on, so when it went down to below 100, I bought back the calls to give myself some straight calls because, remember, we were in the 97s from like here. And then we sold some hundreds, and then I sold some 105s up there, so, premium's gone and, some intrinsic value is gone. So anyway, here is the 50-day. So if you knew where the 50-day was and didn't start too early, because some people started early, it wasn't that much of a painful trade. You could have been buying there and made yourself some money. Okay, now, we'll see if, it wants to come back up and maybe retest this spot. So, that's how these things trade. That was a better trade than the Facebook. Then, Netflix, broken name, but from 107 down, it looked as if it was worth a spot. So it said, look at it, verse 97.5 for maybe a reversal. So where did it go? Why did I say 97.5? Not because it was like a mathematical formation that came out of a think tank. It was because this is pretty much where it broke out from, somewhere in here. Okay, going up here. If you got out when it broke this upper flag, that was your spot. Here was a small little red dog reversal using this pivot, 99.22. So if you didn't want to buy in the hole, you could have bought there, and you made $1. Maybe it has a little room to the moving average. Not a lot, just a trade. Google, what did it do? This stock is still so nuts. Really just a whole lot of nothing. From the upper end of the range, which is, thank goodness for this small little red dog reversal, gave you at least some signals to take something off, push through, couldn't hold, and now it's right back into this end of the range, as I guess we're waiting for earnings in a better market. Amazon just about made the 21-day. Okay, so if you sold it when it broke the 8-day or up here, you had the luxury of buying back near the 21-day. So what we know now on a few things, okay, to measure relative strength and weakness, okay, BABA and Facebook, which have been great stocks, okay, they went all the way down to the 50-day. Amazon, best in breed, the 21-day. So, it's like a pecking order. Google, a whole lot of nothing, just still in the range, okay, but hanging in here with nothing to really do except for play some extremes. And then, you talk about the new issues. The new issues have been have had a lot of focus. ACIA was one of the first to go green early in the morning and gave a nice little trade. Sperling, got to give it to him. He stuck with it all day. I took a little scalp here and there. It went below 88.05 by $1, came back above it, and then $6. So dollar risk for $6 reward. And now if you took a little bit home, maybe it gets up a little bit more back to where the range broke. So that was a nice targeted move. And it was green first, so it showed some relative strength. Twilio did not work. Did not work. Why didn't it work? Because it still hasn't done its pricing yet. Has a secondary coming out that people are worried about. Okay, here was your first signal to get out of Dodge when it broke above a prior resistance and couldn't hold it. And then, really, well, when did this break? Right there. Boom. Okay, so now a whole lot of nothing. So maybe it'll be discounted enough so by the time they do pricing, we could get some kind of buy in the hole. So I guess, if it were to get close to this 44-ish, maybe I'll buy some options, or maybe it gets here and then that's when they announce it tight and then it could bounce. But all in all, lots of reasons to get out of it. One right here, another right there, another right there, and especially when ACIA broke price at 100. So then the other new issues that are not getting close to secondaries yet that Sperling is really focusing on, you have this coup, which supposedly, fundamentally is something to look forward into the future. We'll look at this nice little red dog reversal here. Some of you guys after 4 down days said I'm going to be a buyer. So they bought it on Tuesday when it went back above 27, and then pretty much been coming up since. So if you bought it here and put a stop in at the low of that day, $1.50, now you're up to 30.50, you're up almost 3. So not bad. And now, at least you have a good price and you could trade around it. There's TNTX. Is that the symbols? NTNX. Also actually looking a little bit better. It didn't get back to the low end. Okay, held and then came off it, and then maybe at some point it breaks above this. Here's a spot. So they're building charts. So if you want to tactically trade them as they build the charts, you can do that. Okay, this right here held below that, held above the first day's candle and has a little bit of support in there. So I would think if you went home overnight, maybe you took a little NTNX, a little COOP, and a little ACIA. Twilio, you have to wait. What did the Qs do today? The Qs, little bottom tail. You're probably gonna see a lot of bottom tails. Okay, and that's the way it's been. Okay, if you got out when it broke, on this engulfing day, then this morning, oh look at that, actually right to the spot we talked about in my morning note. Where'd it go? 115.90 right there. Boom. Okay. Well, anyway, so ranges, and you got to do what you want to do in them. So all in all, if you came in today short and covered into the weakness instead of pressing with the oscillator down minus 60. That made sense. If you took some trades early because you were looking for some, longs versus a 15 to 30 minute low or a 60 minute low, you made some money, and that, sometimes you don't just hold for the day. If you wound up holding for the day and you took a third thinking that this morning could be a swing low for better action, then just take a smaller portion than what you made with, with your intraday action. For me, I went home flat because I had actually a really good week, with, Apple, Apple, let's just show Apple still hanging in here. Talked about this 116 is a good level. I didn't buy it there, but, wound up holding it. So, this still looks good technically. Last good buy was here, and then now it retested. Not so bad. I think I sold my Apple into that topping tail. But anyway, Fridays have been something that have been a little erratic for me. So after, getting back on track and having a good week, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to just be flat, because to me we could be up or down 6 handles tomorrow, and I'd rather not deal with it. I think we're still a little vulnerable, but in the lower end of the range, the bulls made a stand. They could have hit oil today and they didn't. Oil had a bigger drawdown, et cetera, or whatever it was, and what did it do? It held the 200-day, held right into support, and did a little red dog reversal around the prior low. So some upper commitment to this move from when they said they were going to cut production down here. So, each few days we go from neutral to positive, to neutral to negative, to neutral to tactical, to try and hold a few things. And at this point, I feel like the weekly VWAP is close to 214. So if they wanted to close the market, or around 2140 or 2145, they could tomorrow, or the same way, the things could continue. So for me, I'll just wait and see, and I'll trade a little bit based on tomorrow's open or not, and just book the week and start again fresh. As we're going to have a lot of earnings coming out soon, starting next week with Netflix Monday, and then you have a whole bunch of them, and you have the banks tomorrow. So, pick and choose where you want to live. Where I want to live tonight is neutral. I came in short, covered, but we're too far off our lows, and I'm not exactly so bullish that I'll be taking them overnight into the randomness of the evening. Have a good one.